Iranians at home and abroad are still digesting the news that Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, who ruled Iran for 36 years, is dead. Some reacted by dancing in the streets and others by going into mourning. To hear more now about the expectations for the Iranian diaspora, we can bring in Sanam Naraghi Anderlini, a British-Iranian peace strategist and author. Good morning, Sanam. Thank you so much for joining us here on Europe Today on EuroNews. First question, what is your take on the US-Israeli operation in Iran? Was it wise?
So first of all, thank you very much for having me. This is an illegal war. It's a war of choice. It was not necessary. And then I think that's why we see the Germans, the Nordics and others stepping away from being pressured by the United States to get involved. So that's the first thing. The second thing I think is that we have to see that they are consistently committing war crimes. 9 to 10 hospitals have been targeted, heritage sites, residential areas in Tehran. So the question of what is the purpose of this war needs to also be put on the table at the moment.
Indeed, it looked like it was a very dangerous night for Iranians. What is next, do you think, for the country?
That's I think the gazillion-dollar question, if you want, for everybody. The issue, we have 4 different objectives that are sort of fighting with each other, if you want. You have the objective of the Iranian public, which has been calling for an end to the regime, but they didn't want a war like this to be the sort of, the response to the protests last year. So that the question of how do you go from the regime to a democratic space, is it through war or not? And at the moment, it's certainly not. This is not the answer. You have the regime that wants to survive, obviously. You have Israel, which is really driving this agenda. And at the moment, we're seeing their strategy at play because they want to decimate the country. They are now trying to open the borders for the Kurds and others to have a land incursion. And essentially, they want to destroy Iran's capacity to be a force in the region, regardless of whether it's this regime or a democratic one. They want a subservient outcome, regime or government at the end of this, and a country that has zero defenses and is unable to challenge their expansion in the region.
And Sanam, as we've seen, the war is spilling out into the region. How long could this war last and how much more could it escalate, do you think?
This is also something that before they started the war, they should have anticipated. What we're seeing right now is that in Iraq, in Lebanon, in Bahrain, in Pakistan, in Kashmir, people are responding to the assassination of Khamenei. And it is genuinely sort of causing, it's igniting a lot of animosity towards the United States, actually. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect, of course, is the Iranian, strategy as an asymmetric conflict of targeting the Gulf states and Dubai and other places to try and both mitigate the effect of the Americans, but also to exact a high price so that there is some kind of ceasefire. I think that's part of their strategy. But the economic costs are going to be global because of the Straits of Hormuz, because of insurance costs and so forth. So we need de-escalation as soon as possible. Okay. De-escalation that comes with the opportunity for Iranians to have their shift in the political system.